and every moment. As we welcome you to college football on ABC, presented by Arby's. From Ohio Stadium, 4th-ranked Ohio State, now up against the 19th-ranked Purdue Boilermakers, who, as others are now saying, Spoilermakers. It is that November feeling when the horseshoe is pulsating with pressure. The Buckeyes are back in the top 4. What matters most is to be there at the end. And that finish line is now only 22 days away. College football playoff on the line with each and every moment. As we welcome you to college football on ABC, presented by Arby's. From Ohio Stadium, 4th-ranked Ohio State, now up against the 19th-ranked Purdue Boilermakers, who, as others are now saying, Spoilermakers.
One of the great matchups on this fine football Saturday.
Thrown to the end zone, and the ball is on the money. It's caught for a touchdown by David Bell.
The Boilermakers with their 4th takeaway of the afternoon, and Purdue comes into Iowa City and stuns the 2nd-ranked Hawkeyes.
We are underway in West Lafayette. Boilermakers hit first.
They hand it to him on a reverse, now a double reverse, a pitch back to O'Connell. They're going to pass. This is Anthrop. A 39-yard flea flicker.
And the chaos continues. Another top 5 team goes down.
Yes, Purdue can play with any team. Iowa and Michigan State found that out the hard way. Now Coach Jeff Brom and his fearless group boils up for their biggest challenge. Good afternoon, everybody. Joe Tessitore, as always, with my partner Greg McElroy. This Ohio State roster has talent that'll fill out All-America teams and NFL first rounds. That's down the road. For now, all that matters is winning right now, surviving right now, and avoiding a knockout punch from a Purdue team that has been throwing haymakers all season long. Is there a threat level of an upset alert here for Ohio State today, Greg?
You got to be careful. I mean, Ohio State's the more gifted team, the more talented team, but Purdue doesn't care. Every single week, Purdue, they take it like it's a one-game season. This week, no different. That's why they've dethroned teams in the top 5 already on 2 different occasions this year. And you think back about this rivalry, this historical significance of Ohio State and Purdue. We all remember 2018, what happened when Purdue destroyed Ohio State. Remember 2012, the Kenny Guyton game. Purdue, for whatever reason, has been able to play with and in some cases beyond Ohio State in the past. And it's a scary game for Ohio State if they don't play much better in the red zone and much better offensively.
With more on Purdue, here's Katie George.
Well, guys, life is all about learning lessons. After Purdue beat Iowa, David Bell told me that he and his teammates held on too long to that win, and it resulted in a loss the following week against Wisconsin. So after they beat Michigan State, George Karlaftis addressed it immediately. He said, you got one night to enjoy this, celebrate, but tomorrow all eyes turn to Ohio State. They showed growth, maturity. Michigan State was not mentioned once last week, and this is a team that loves to play spoiler, guys.
Do they ever, Katie? Ohio State won the toss. They elect to defer. Sheffield and Anthrop back for the Ruggles kick. This is Sheffield on the return. And good coverage. He doesn't even make it to the 20. Well, Purdue has one of the best players in all of college football, and that's their star wide receiver, David Bell.
He's amazing. Does everything so incredibly well. Has elite hand-eye coordination. Does a great job tracking the ball. Not ridiculous speed, but he always seems to be able to create separation. He's been the dependable go-to guy in each of the 2 massive wins that Purdue had. And I think he's the front runner right now, Joe, for the Bolitnikoff, the best wide receiver in college football.
Aiden O'Connell, the quarterback. Doru gets the carry as he makes his way to the 24-yard line. Aiden O'Connell, who was just sensational in last week's upset of Michigan State. 40 completions, over 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. 6-yard run from Doru to open up the game. And now O'Connell will get it out into space to Doru. And this is really an extension of the running game that you'll see often today. But Zach Harrison is somebody they have to avoid as he comes up with the tackle. Fine defensive end for the Buckeyes.
And Coach Jeff Brom for Purdue, he knows that there's an advantage for the Buckeyes with their defensive line against Purdue's offensive line. They'll use the run game and the screens to slow down that pass rush.
3rd and 6, quickly to the outside, but it's incomplete as he couldn't connect with Bell.
It's a good start for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Give up the positive first down run, but buckled down there on 2nd and 3rd down. Good coverage there on the back end to force the incompletion.
There's Jaxon Smith-Njigba, young receiver who's back to return. Was Jack Ansel punt. JSN last week set the single game score record with 15 catches.
And just a shank punt there off the side of the foot for Ansel, and he was kicking into the wind. It's gusty right now, very gusty on the field here in the Horseshoe.
It goes for 16 yards, Greg.
And that wind is actually blowing from the far right corner all the way across the field at a diagonal. And that's exactly where that ball got pushed. So blowing into Purdue's face as they punted that one. And Ohio State starts off with outstanding field position.
For C.J. Stroud, the redshirt freshman quarterback, who is coming off his 3rd 400-yard game of the season. Going to quickly get the bubble out into space to Garrett Wilson. Wilson is able to spin for a few extra yards. He was physically unable to play last week against Nebraska. Leads the team with now 44 catches on the season.
And he's their most explosive playmaker. Of course, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, the slot wide receiver, and Chris Olave form the deepest wide receiver core in the country.
Sprint left with tempo as they get the first down to Chris Olave.
Right now, between the 20s hasn't been a problem for Ohio State's offense. They've been very efficient in the open field. However, the closer they get to the red zone, each of the last 2 weeks against both Penn State and last week against Nebraska, the red zone is where they've had some woes offensively. Just 2 touchdowns in their last 9 red zone penetrations.
2 quick completions already at the Purdue 25-yard line. Henderson goes ahead for 3 yards. George Karlaftis with the tackle. Karlaftis, a dynamic force on that Purdue defensive line.
And you see TreVeyon Henderson there, the true freshman, so explosive. And he has been, you want to say bell cow, I mean, my goodness. For the most part, Master Teague, who's unavailable today because of injury, and Maya Williams have been an afterthought as far as the run game's concerned. This true freshman has taken this running back room and made it his own.
Henderson on 2nd and 7 only gets a yard that time as Jamari Brown makes the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Year number 3 for Ryan Day. Undefeated in Big Ten games, 21-0.
Ryan Day is talked about with this offense. He's like, man, this group is really talented, but we're young and we're inconsistent. Trying to find the right formula, the balance between run and pass is something that he's trying to figure out. He's going against a fairly experienced Purdue defense, especially along the line of scrimmage.
Stroud on 3rd and 6. Quick out, wide open as Wilson turns the corner, dives for the pylon, and it's a Buckeyes touchdown. Seventh touchdown of the year for Garrett Wilson. Poor punt by Purdue. Great field position for Ohio State. And then utilizing all the weaponry. Olave and Wilson and C.J. Stroud brings them right down the short field. Garrett Wilson has caught a pass in 30 consecutive games. And the Buckeyes strike first. 7-0 on their home turf.
And this is locked on the outside with the corners and the wide receivers. But what makes this very difficult is you get the outside receiver on an in-breaking route, which brings the corner and collapses the corner inside, and there's nobody in the flat for Wilson, who catches the easy out route and takes it upfield for the score. That's a nice design to take advantage of one of Purdue's main coverages.
And so safety Cam Allen, number 10 there, is about 12 yards away at that moment. Let's go down to Katie.
Well, guys, it's been a challenging week for Aiden O'Connell as he was preparing for this game. His mother, Kathy, prepared for what was hopefully the last of countless surgeries and what has been a long road to recovery after a car accident almost took her life a year ago. Kathy was in surgery yesterday as Purdue landed here in Columbus. Aiden was getting updates throughout from his dad, who is by her side. I'm told all went well, and Kathy's watching her son today from her recovery room. Aiden said his mom's courage has been so inspiring. He's certainly thinking of her today as he tries to put it together. Another brilliant performance against a top-ranked team.
Glad to hear that she's doing well today. David Bell breaks free, and Bell will get it out to about the 47-yard line for a first down. Katie, I know you agree with what I'm about to say here because, Greg, we were talking about this earlier, but we were just remarking, in being with Aiden O'Connell yesterday, his composure. Yeah. We were in the midst of a production meeting with him while his mom was in surgery.
Yeah, hour number 2 of a 5-hour surgery, and he said that it was a very difficult surgery and one that he's obviously very, very proud of his mom for being able to be as positive as she has in the face of adversity. I'm telling you, I've never met Aiden O'Connell. I didn't know who he was prior to a couple years ago, watching him in bits and pieces as a starting quarterback. But my time with him yesterday, the 20 minutes that we spent, I'm blown away by his composure and the ability to compartmentalize the challenges that he's going through and not allowing it to affect his performance throughout the course of the week and today. I know his teammates are proud of him as well.
Owen Wright with the 6-yard reception, setting up a 2nd and 4 for Aiden O'Connell. Horvath gets the carry, and he'll have a Purdue first down inside the 40-yard line. So Aiden, thinking about his mom, Kathy, undergoes major surgery yesterday. The serious car accident was in June of 2020. You know, we did turn to him. We said, listen, going to be watching. What do you want her to know? And he said, I want her to know about the way the community thinks of her and her perspective of being so faithful and being a huge inspiration. But I want her to know that the one thing we think is she's so courageous. So, Kathy, that is from your son. Carry is Jaxon Anthrop. Last week, he was part of that incredible trick play, Greg. They called it money one, that flea flicker into the screen pass that he took 39 yards, weaving through the Michigan State defense for a touchdown.
Yeah, this guy's just a great football player, and he can do everything. And they put a lot on his plate. This young man, and you'll see him. He's motioning, he's moving, he's at slot, he's in the out wide, he's at running back. This guy is a tremendous football player, and they use him a lot of different ways. He's kind of the key that makes all the different looks that they'll throw at the opposing defense, makes them difficult.
2nd and 6, quickly to the outside, and Wright's able to shake free for a moment and has the first down. Denzel Burke finally corrals him. You know, you mentioned that play with Jaxon Anthrop, that trick play that was like the play of the week in college football last week. It was Milton Wright who made the great effort with the downfield block. He was all the way in the backfield. All of a sudden, he's darting down to pick up a block.
Yeah, he was the one that pitched it back to O'Connell. I mean, this is a guy with a ton of speed. Not the most consistent with his hands, but he's gotten better and better each and every week.
First down throw, O'Connell, back shoulder, and inside the 10 to David Bell. And are they saying this is incomplete?
They are.
He lost it right at the end, didn't he?
He did. Looked like he had it on the back shoulder, but it's a great job there by the corner
Denzel Burke breaking it up.
The freshman, breaking it up, staying with it. And let's see.
So they bring it back, a 2nd and 10, saying that was an incompletion. O'Connell, this isn't Jaxon Anthrop, touchdown, Boilermakers. What a response by Purdue. Aiden O'Connell, a day after his mom undergoes major surgery, he comes out here against this team and opens up with that. Anthrop open and scores.
What a great design there from Jeff Brom. 4 receivers, quads into the boundary. Ohio State unprepared for it. Didn't have enough defenders on that side, and they flood the zone, and Anthrop finds the touchdown.
So Anthrop, week after that trick play they called Money One, he was money right here. 25-yard touchdown catch from Aiden O'Connell. 7-7 early on in the horseshoe.
College football on ABC is presented by Arby's. We have the meats.
Talk about football history between these two schools. How about the history with astronauts? Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon, Purdue alum, and Nancy Curry Gregg, Robert Lawrence Jr., astronauts who are Ohio State alums. We've got a 7-7 game here. Purdue, their first drive was 3 and out and then a 16-yard punt. And all of a sudden they come down the field, 7 plays, 75 yards. O'Connell looked great, 4 of 5. He had 62 of their 75 yards, including hitting Anthrop with the 25-yard touchdown. Buckeyes back deep. Freehill kicking away. Buka from the end zone. Let's check in with Kevin in the studio. Thank you very much, guys. And a lot of people this week, they were saying, hey, it should be at least interesting to see that Tennessee offense against the Georgia defense.
Yeah, and that's the most explosive offense that Georgia's seen this year. I mean, their defense allows, 6 points a game? So Tennessee already above the season average against that Bulldogs defense.
C.J. Stroud, as he gets it out to Garrett Wilson. Wilson, who had a 21-yard touchdown to open up the game. Mackey with the tackle of Wilson.
As you look at C.J. Stroud, the thing that jumps out when you look at his skill set is just how quick his release is. Sometimes when guys have a release that's as quick and as short and as compact as C.J. Stroud, they lose velocity. Not the case. This guy's release is ridiculous, and yet the ball still jumps out of his hand.
JSN coming around, and he finds space. Jaxon Smith-Njigba. They're marking him out at the 21-yard line. A 49-yard run. What a month he is having.
How about the block by his tight end, Ruckert? Watch him on the end of the line of scrimmage, go out and secure. And look how long he has to hold this block. I mean, forever. He does so beautifully against Jalen Graham to allow Jaxon Smith-Njigba. And the hot streak continues for number 11 of the Buckeyes. Tell you what, as you see Jalen Alexander banged up, one of the most productive tacklers that Purdue has, a guy that they have to have there at the second level. And as you see Ohio State, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, what a pleasant surprise it was to watch him this week and study him, really study him. And he is a quarterback's best friend. I'm telling you, his short area quickness and his understanding of how to run routes and how to be friendly for his quarterback. It's no secret that Brian Hartline, the wide receiver coach here at Ohio State, does a great job. And man, he's got an excellent slot receiver in JSN.
Stroud. That is his first incompletion of the afternoon as he was trying to connect with his tight end Rucker.
As we mentioned before, 1 for 1 so far in the red zone today, but for whatever reason, this is the part of the field that has been a little bit more challenging for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, last couple games, just 2 touchdowns in 9 red zone opportunities.
If you look at just their yards per play, they average about 7.5 in the field.
Olave on the receiver screen. Oh, that's going to be a face mask as he was ripped down and twisted around at the end of that play. He went for 9 yards.
Personal foul, face mask. The penalties are close to half the distance to goal.
And Cam Allen there grabbing the face mask. Very obvious call. And Purdue's going to have to make some adjustments on the perimeter right now because they're giving up easy completions. And right now, those easy completions are turning into big plays.
First and goal, Buckeyes. Henderson. He is taken down at the 3-yard line. The second and goal from there.
As we talked about a second ago, 7.5 yards of play in the field, under 1.8 in the red zone. They haven't been as efficient running the football. They haven't been as efficient throwing the football. But so far today, they've been very, very sharp as the field condenses.
Second and goal, Henderson probing that left side and getting a push. And he's in. Touchdown, Ohio State. The freshman now with 16 total touchdowns on the season. His 13th running the ball. Most touchdowns from scrimmage in a season by a freshman in the grand history of this place. He's creeping up that list. Good-looking scoring drive from Ohio State. Jaxon, Smith-Njigba had the 49-yard play. That set it up. And then the superstar freshman pushes that pile. Gets a little help from the big O-line. And Ohio State is back up 14-7 Bucks.
You're watching Veterans Week coverage on ESPN, brought to you by USAA.
This is a scene that our folks captured earlier today. ROTC students here at Ohio State running with the flags, push-ups inside the horseshoe following the touchdown moments ago. We've had 3 combined scoring drives that go 2 minutes and 10 seconds, 2:49, and the last one 1:47. Fair catch at the 18. Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One is number 9 Notre Dame down in Charlottesville to take on Virginia. Notre Dame UVA tonight at 7:30 on ABC. Virginia is a team that can score, but they are dealing with injuries this week. So I know they're going to be excited for that one down at Mr. Jefferson's grounds. 14-7. Ohio State on top. O'Connell comes across the grain to Sheffield. Sheffield goes for 8.5 yards. Coach is very high on Sheffield's upside. Sophomore from Thompson Station, Tennessee.
And as you watch Purdue, they're going to have to be really smart because right now these pass rushers for Ohio State, they're one of the best in college football. and getting after the quarterback. You got to change the launch point. You got to roll them out. You got to mix in some different things to give those pass rushers different looks.
2nd and 2, just goes underneath to Doru, and Doru weaving his way out to the 47-yard line before Ronnie Hickman finally tracks him down. There's 14 yards.
If you look and talk to Jeff Brom, the head coach and offensive coordinator calling the plays. Good job by the umpire there too, by the way, as he almost laid a block.
Look at this alignment, this formation. Off center, as then it's incomplete. So they bring the entire line over to the left side. Jeff Brom, he's always up to something. Last week he had the reverse flea flicker screen pass, and here he puts the line on the left side.
Yeah, how about the snap right there? Just throw it on over there. Who said you had to throw it between your legs? You don't. That's the truth.
And that's Payne Durham, the tight end, who, by the way, becomes an eligible receiver as the end man on the line there. And you saw him release and try to go downfield. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on the trick play, and he was trying to find Anthrop, who was covered well by Ransom. So it'll be 3rd and 10.
Jeff Brom will give you a bunch of different looks, a ton of different formations. That time there on quads. Here on a 3rd and long. Potential 4-down territory if you can get a little bit closer to the line to gain. Keep an eye, obviously, at all times in this scenario. Keep an eye on Payne Durham, the tight end at the end of the line of scrimmage. He can create some matchups in one-on-ones.
3rd and 10. Gets it complete for a 1st down to Milton Wright.
Just a great throw and a good route. Look at him slip inside on 7. Banks, and well-timed throw by Aiden O'Connell. Ball's delivered right as Wright is coming out of his break. Just tremendous anticipation.
Jack Plummer is now in the game at quarterback, considered the better athlete of the two. He was the starting quarterback out of fall camp. Fumbled and recovered by the Buckeyes. Jerron Cage with the recovery. So Jack Plummer comes in the game, and on the very first play, bad exchange as Doru couldn't secure it, and Cage jumps on it.
King Doru didn't know he was getting the ball. Look at the running back's right arm. He's almost faking it. You see him duck down. He's not even looking at the ball. Nothing. It's almost as if he thought it was going to be a handoff to Wright, and the way Wright reacted too, it's almost as if he thought he was getting the ball. So I wonder if Jack Plummer that time, if he for whatever reason didn't get the call, but he called it from the huddle. I don't understand what happened. Just a massive mistake there from the Boilermakers.
Ohio State takes over at the 43-yard line. Look at Henderson. TreVeyon Henderson turning on the Jets and gone. 57-yard touchdown for the sensational freshman. Fumble on one end, explosive game changer on the other.
And this is a game changer. George Karlaftis, one of the best in college football, but this time he guesses. He tries to swim inside Thayer Mumford, the left guard. As a result, there's nobody there in the B gap as Kieran Douglas, the middle linebacker, late getting over the top. C-43 takes a bad angle, and TreVeyon Henderson's speed on display. Young man is so good. Once he gets started, he is so explosive. Not tremendous wiggle, but if he gets to the second level untouched, look out. And if he gets behind the defense, you're not catching him.
You see the most touchdowns from scrimmage by a freshman. Maurice Clarett with 18. Henderson now with 17. He has 2 today, a 57-yard run. He now has 4 runs this season over 50 yards. He has shown that game-breaking ability since week 1. He was in against Minnesota. He took that screen pass, went 70 yards. Everybody said, oh, watch out. They knew he was going to be special. He has been over-delivering. 21-7 Ohio State.
And that's how quickly it can happen against this Ohio State team. So gifted, so athletic. You make one mistake against Ohio State, it's like making 7 mistakes against most other teams in college football. They just have so much firepower, and you just can't give them freebies like Purdue did on the last possession.
Connell back out there at quarterback. Remember, he was not the quarterback with the turnover moments ago. They put Jack Plummer in for 1 play. There's a miscommunication with the exchange. Cage came up with the recovery, and you blink, and all of a sudden it's Ohio State going the other way for 7. Horvath goes for 5 yards there.
And no need to panic if you're Purdue. You have to stick with your game plan. So far, you've made a mistake. Ohio State capitalized. You can still run the ball. You can still give them different looks. But this is an important drive for the Boilermakers.
2nd and 5. O'Connell as he goes to David Bell, and that's a first down. David Bell, who we told you has had the big moments in the big games. The upset of number 2 Iowa, had the 4th quarter touchdown, had 240 yards last week against Michigan State, 217 yards in that upset win.
He's terrific. So reliable and such a fierce competitor. Talking to Jeff Brom yesterday, he goes, yeah, he got hit pretty good against Notre Dame, had to miss the Illinois game, but so this young man fights, he loves contact, he loves to play the game.
Horvath can't get out of the backfield as he was wrapped up immediately and taken down. As you saw Chambers coming up with the tackle. Steele Chambers, who had the last-minute interception last week against Nebraska, that put the game away. 6 tackles in that game as well.
That converted running back that made the switch to the defensive side. And you look at this defense, Matt Barnes now in as the defensive coordinator calling the plays. His defense is now changing their look. They've simplified things a little bit, allowing guys to use their athleticism.
2nd and 13. Bell can't find much at all. Tommy Eckenberg is able to tackle him right away.
As you see this Ohio State defense, the first 2 games, and just how much better they've played, how much more disciplined they've been. Now, I still think there's some things they got to iron out as far as the run fits are concerned. And against a team that can really run the football, like a Michigan State or a Michigan, they'll be challenged. But they have made drastic improvements in attacking and being able to create negative plays like interceptions over the last several games.
3rd and 9. O'Connell, shallow cross just beyond the line of scrimmage that goes nowhere. Chambers closes on him again. TJ Sheffield couldn't shake free. So Matt Barnes and this defense doing their job. Took over the play calling duties earlier this year from Kerry Combs, as we've discussed, but such a talented group with Larry Johnson managing the defensive line and Al Washington handling the linebackers. Jack Ansel on to punt. Remember his second punt, struggled on his first go round. Jaxon, Smith-Njigba back to return. Now for today's Aflac trivia question. CJ Stroud last week, arm had to be a little sore, right? 54 passes last week against Nebraska. Greg, that's 2nd most in a single game in Ohio State history. We ask, who holds the record for the most pass attempts in a game? Wow. 54 passes last week. He was 36 of 54. Went for 405 yards, had a couple of touchdowns, did have 2 interceptions. Hadn't thrown an interception in the previous 4 games.
I think this Ohio State, fans from Ohio State are a little frustrated that number is as high as it is. I think they'd like to see a little more balance. I think Ryan Day would like to see a little more balance. But last week, obviously Nebraska did a pretty good job at the line of scrimmage, made it difficult to consistently run the football, as Ohio State has to call a timeout because they had some miscommunication between the sideline and their offensive huddle.
Well, that is the perfect pause for us to answer the Aflac trivia question. We asked, who has the record for the most pass attempts in a game in Ohio State history? Well, familiar opponent, right? And you understand the circumstances as to why Dwayne Haskins would have thrown 73 times back in 2018. October of 2018, the then number 3 Buckeyes, and it was Purdue upsetting them 49-20. The only loss that season for Ohio State. And you remember the late Tyler Trent was there to watch his beloved Boilermakers, and that wave of emotion that they were able to ride on that special night for Purdue in that stunner over then number 3 Ohio State. This is Williams. Williams with a stiff arm, and then he is ridden out.
What a night that was. And this Ohio State team, they're actually a little similar to that 2018 bunch. The defense has had some growing pains, but they're so pass happy. They really rely more on throwing the football as opposed to quarterback run like they have at times in the past. So there are some similarities, and that Ohio State team was excellent, obviously.
Look at the bowling ball body build of Mayan Williams. He's 5'8", probably over 225, and he just got that pad leverage and went straight ahead for 8 yards. Mayan Williams.
And I'm really kind of interested to see how much more involved he gets. I mean, TreVeyon Henderson's obviously your guy. He's not going anywhere. But I do think it would do Ohio State, it would help them down the road if they continue to involve Mayan Williams. And then when Master Teague's back at 100%, get him involved too. Take a little bit of the load off the true freshman.
Teague not available today. Henderson already 2 touchdowns today. Williams able to get an opening off that left side and then gain extra as he first made the contact with Chris Jefferson. So 8 more yards.
I think it's always good to have a running back that's a hammer, and that's exactly who Mayan Williams is. You reference, he's a downhill physical runner.
2nd and 2, Stroud. Great play called down and distance, 2nd and 2, right? Gives you options. Go to Garrett Wilson, and it's another Buckeyes first down.
You got whatever you want. Right now, Ryan Day, his quarterback's in rhythm. They're running the ball effectively. So far, that talented Purdue defensive front has been a non-factor because of how quickly the ball is coming out of C.J. Stroud's hands. It's been a really nice offensive plan from the Buckeyes so far.
Poised, intelligent young quarterback Wilson again as he tries to spin free and then is wrapped up.
Well, guys, Ryan Day says he's continuing to learn about his QB each week, but he's been impressed by his anticipation, his ability to see the field, and his poise in the pocket. Day said he's learning week in and week out of what it takes to be the guy here at Ohio State. He's a freshman still learning on the job. He said he's following up from some guys that have come before him that are so good. So he's been really impressed with the way he's handled himself here.
And here he is on 2nd and 6 connecting with Jaxon, Smith-Njigba. He only did that 15 times last week. And Katie, you continued that conversation with Ryan Day yesterday and talking about how C.J. Stroud has really developed his voice, and he's really not afraid to use it as a young leader on the team, that his confidence grows more and more. 21-7, impressive start for Ohio State. College football presented by Arby's returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Always talk about how quickly things can change. You mentioned how quickly they can change when you're playing a team this explosive like Ohio State. So all of a sudden we go from 7-7, Henderson scores, and then this key turnover. Next thing you know, there goes Henderson. He's in the express lane.
10 minutes.
That's it.
14 points. Pretty impressive just how quickly it can happen. Ohio State can pour it on you if you make mistakes. Purdue so far 2 mistakes. Bad punt, shanked punt, and a fumble.
And now Stroud to start the second quarter as he gets it incomplete. He was trying to connect with Jaxon Smith-Njigba.
Purdue's got to find an answer because right now Everything that Ohio State has offensively has been working. They've been able to run the ball both between the tackles and on the perimeter. The quick passing attack has been extremely efficient for the Buckeyes. As you can see right now, every time they snap it, they're getting a first down. 10.8 yards per play.
Smith-Njigba's in the backfield here on 2nd and 10. 206 first quarter total yards for Ohio State. Play clock running down. Timeout's going to be utilized by Ryan Day and the Buckeyes. It was interesting this week. There was actually some criticism of C.J. Stroud, this first-year starting quarterback who's been putting up such big passing numbers that his name popped up into the Heisman conversation. And then, you know, some Ohio State reporters and fans are saying, but he doesn't run the ball. Only around this place with the hyper-criticism would they say that. But where do you think he is in his development?
I think he's right on track. I mean, I don't know what you want from him. He's not a runner. That's not who he is. Can he run? Yes. But he's best at staying within the pocket and distributing. And that's where he's at this point. Now, last week, if we're going to be real honest, I don't think it was his finest hour. I didn't think he saw the field very well. I thought he got a little locked in on wide receivers and tried to push it and tried to take a few too many chances. Today, he's just getting the ball out and allowing those wide receivers, that talented wide receiver core, the opportunity to play in space. That's where he's at his best, and certainly looks that way today.
Off the timeout as JSN rotates back.
Well, guys, I asked CJ about running the football. He said, it's not like I'm never going to run the football. I'll do anything it takes to win. He said, I'll run the ball 10 or 20 times a game if that's what's needed to win. But against Nebraska, the opportunity to run the ball did not present itself. That's why I made the comments post-game. But he reiterated that he's capable of running the football well, but more importantly, he's willing to do so when it makes sense.
Yeah, that comment post-game, if it was my job to run the ball, I'd be a running back. I'd throw the ball for a living. 3rd and 6, and here he is throwing the ball shallow underneath and picking up the first down to Garrett Wilson.
Right now, too, you think about this Ohio State offense. I mean, with the receivers that they have, I mean, why do you worry about the quarterback running the ball? Get it to those guys. Let those guys
best
work.
Receiver room in the country.
Just feed them. In one-on-ones, I mean, these guys can make guys miss and turn what would be a 1-yard gain into a 95-yard touchdown. So I think he's playing great and continues to excel.
The empty look. Things were crossed up between Olave and Wilson.
C.J. Stroud pass intended for Chris Olave.
Big 3 receivers for Ohio State. You know, Smith-Njigba put up the huge numbers last week. Olave and Wilson, they're going to be cashing paychecks in the NFL soon enough, but just sensational stats.
I think just how they complement each other, too. I mean, Olave, I would like to see him tighten up his route running just a hair. He's so smooth. Wilson, the explosiveness, and then JSN, the outstanding feel for the slot.
Flag is down as Stroud throws it off. That was Karlaftis offsides. He was a little anxious to try to get after C.J. Stroud.
Offside. Defense number 58. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
And that's Branson Dean, who is undersized there in the middle of that Purdue defensive line. They list him at 6'2", 275. We had a good laugh with the defensive coordinator, Brad Lambert. Say, all right, what does he really weigh? He would not confirm, but we're thinking it's about 260, 265, a very active, athletic defensive tackle. That undersized defensive tackle with quickness has become obviously a huge part of the NFL's defensive style, and they're using it there for Purdue as well.
Stroud on 2nd and 5. Look at how wide open JSN is. And Ohio State has found their rhythm. 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns.
And you see the bunch up the top. Number 7, Jamari Brown, pointing to Jaxon Smith-Njigba, who's not there. They've hit him over and over and over again on those bubbles to the flat. Well, this time they get JSN right behind the defense, and Ohio State cashes in again.
20-yard touchdown reception. C.J. Stroud is 13 of 16. 2 touchdowns, gone for 155 yards. These sensational receivers. We've talked about Olave and Wilson. For the past 7 days, it's been all Jaxon, Smith, and Njigba. 28-7 early in the second quarter. From here in Columbus, Ohio, you're watching the Big Ten on ABC. Purdue has split the last 6 games against Ohio State. They had wins in 09, 11, the all-time classic in 18, but here they are down 28-7 against this red-hot Ohio State offense. It's a live ball. It's got to be fielded, and finally it is by Jackson Anthrop, and Ohio State is claiming that they have it. And they do. Buckeyes football.
As you see right here, Anthrop just doesn't field it cleanly, isn't prepared to take the hit, and yet another Purdue mistake. They are just completely unraveling here in the horseshoe.
The ruling on the field as the ball was touched by the return team and recovered by Ohio State. That play is under further review.
Yeah, recovered by Naote Ote. So they are reviewing it. But what a costly mistake on special teams by Purdue.
Right now, they're looking to see if there was a fair catch signal by Jaxon Anthrop. As you see right here. Is that,
with the right hand there?
Kind of looks a little bit
but
like...
is it enough? John Perry, our rules expert, is that enough?
No, not enough. Got to get it up higher and wave it side to side. I don't see this as a fair catch signal. Possession very quickly and then recovered by the kicking team.
John, explain to us what you do consider a full fair catch signal. The threshold of how high that hand has to go, how obvious it is. What is it?
Yeah, you're looking for the word overt. Get the hand up clearly above the head. In this case, there's no sun in Ohio for the last month, so there's nothing to shield the eyes. Get it up there and wave it side to side. I don't see it as a signal.
Says the guy who's anxious to get to South Florida and play tennis for the winter.
I don't see it either. I'm with you, John. I mean, it's got to be more definitive to me.
Number 33 of the return team gave an invalid fair catch signal. He touched the football but never possessed it. The ball was recovered by Ohio State. Therefore, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down the field, Ohio State.
Well, 2 of you just nailed that one.
In this Ohio State team, they saw some teams ranked in the top 10 mess around this morning. Michigan, obviously, great win on the road at Penn State. Oklahoma going down at the hands of Baylor. Ohio State wants no part of that. They are absolutely taking it to Purdue, and Purdue just can't seem to get out of their own way.
They take over on the 12-yard line. This thing going to be served on a silver platter for Ohio State if it keeps going this way. Stroud looking for an option and off the fingers of Olave.
It's a good throw, one that you'd think Olave would make. Slightly behind, obviously, but he's one of the best receivers in college football. That's one that you'd think he'd be able to reel in. What I liked most, though, was the running back actually in the flat. He was wide open, probably could have gotten the ball after it fell incomplete. He didn't say, "Why did you throw it to me?" He actually ran back to his quarterback, said, "Man, keep throwing strikes." Love that interaction between the two freshmen.
Stroud on second down. Look at that effort! Garrett Wilson Yes, sir.
How about that catch? Woo! Unbelievable extension. Welcome back, Garrett Wilson.
No matter what they do today, they can't do wrong. Purdue misplaying the kickoff return. Ohio State taking that ball back. And Garrett Wilson showing why he's a top NFL prospect. Turning the body, jumping, little jump man in midair. Watch the legs spread out as he hauls that in. 5 possessions, 5 touchdowns for Ohio State.
College football presented by Arby's on ABC is brought to you by USAA. This Veterans Day, we invite you to honor all who serve with a simple act to show your thanks. See how at usaa.com/Veterans Day.
Heartfelt thank you to all of our active military and veterans for their courage and commitment, including those on this production crew. Kelton and Freddie and Jonathan and Ron. How about that? Look at that second picture there, the old black and white of Freddie Clout.
Legend.
Great photo there.
Absolute legend.
He was an Army staff sergeant. Kelton was a Navy petty officer, 3rd class. Ron was also in the Navy. And Jonathan, an Army staff sergeant as well. Never forgotten, are they? They keep that seat open, POW, MIA, here at Ohio Stadium. 102,780 can fit in, but that's the most important of all, an empty seat that we will never forget. Ohio State has run 25 offensive plays. 18 of them have been in Purdue territory, Greg. 18 of the 25 plays have been on the other side of the 50. Remember, he mishandled this before, and now Anthrop is going to pick it up. And all the way back at the 10-yard line, have to work his way out to the other side. Let's check into the studio. That is Ohio State's next opponent, Kevin, Michigan State. Doru goes ahead, works the legs for 6 yards.
Greg Tuss, if you remember, Jeff Brom said he wanted to be the aggressor in this game. He said when you get blown out, it's because you play timid or scared. Brom said you want to respect your opponent, but you can't give them too much credit. You have to bring the fight to them, otherwise you have no chance to win. Linebacker Jalen Alexander has been all over the sidelines, urging his teammates, wake up, please, let's wake up. Let's see if they have a response.
Yeah, they have to get points here. I mean, their defense has no answer, and they've made countless mistakes that have led to this 28-point beatdown. That's exactly what it's been here in the first 20 minutes of this ball game.
O'Connell to Brock Thompson. That'll be a Purdue first down. You know, listen, I give credit to Jeff Brom saying, hey, we're going to go out there, we're going to swing the sword, we're going to see what happens, we're going to roll the dice a little bit. You don't even have a chance to when Ohio State is punching like this.
Well, it's frustrating too, though, if you're Jeff Brom, because you can look at it and say, well, we shanked a punt, we had a fumble after we put our backup quarterback in.
Sure.
We're in plus territory at that point, and then we just muffed a kickoff. I mean, they've been their own worst enemy today.
Well, that's just one side of it, and then you got Ohio State, which has been razor sharp every
Right.
which way offensively on the other side, as Stroud has 167 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, and Henderson has 2 touchdowns rushing, including the 57-yarder.
I'm just telling you what Jeff Brom's going to say at halftime.
That's right. That's it, yeah.
It's not about them, y'all. It's about us. No, there's no denying that you cannot make mistakes, because Ohio State will make you pay And Ohio State is clicking on all cylinders today.
2nd and 5. After Anthrop had a 4-yard reception. O'Connell quickly to the outside of Durham. And it'll be 3rd and short.
I almost think it's 4-down territory at this point. I mean, if you're Purdue, the only way you're going to get back into this game is by starting to claw away at it. And you haven't stopped Ohio State, whether they backed up or if they take over at the 40-yard line. So I almost think if I'm Jeff Brom, I got 2 downs to get it here. So I have to stay aggressive like Katie just referenced.
Third and 4. Quick strike on the slant, and they do move the chains as David Bell gets the reception.
A good conversion there. David Bell working against one-on-one coverage. Denzel Burke, tough assignment for the true freshman.
There's Anthrop as they get it quickly to him, and he makes his way to midfield. Second and 7, play action. O'Connell, downfield strike and complete to Milton Wright.
And that ball got knocked out quickly, but the officials right now having a conversation. Did he secure the catch? Is it a fumble out of bounds as opposed to an incompletion? Looks like they're going to mark it, but they'll definitely take a look at this. There's the catch. Yeah, I like that call. I think that is a catch, secure, and then a fumble out of bounds. But a good play there defensively by Ronnie Hickman. Try to break it up.
This is a 24-yard completion. Short toss, Doru. It turns the corner to the 21-yard line. Tyreek Smith runs him down the line. Tyreek Smith, who's healthy again and has had a sack in 3 straight games after missing 3 games this season.
One thing you have if you're Purdue is your offense is predicated around the pass. I mean, you're built to throw the ball over the lot, so you can come back in this game. Now the defense has to step up, and they got to find some answers on that side of the ball. But I mean, if you're going to try to erase a 4-touchdown deficit, you want to have an offense with some explosiveness like Purdue has.
2nd and 5, quick out, Bell again, and another first down. So longest drive of the game for the Boilermakers. Nine-yard completion to Bell. O'Connell's been perfect on this drive.
He's been solid today. I mean, I know they're in a big hole, but in the big mistake that the offense made, he wasn't even on the field for it.
Well, that was Jack Plummer who came in for that one play. Corner of the end zone. Wow! Touchdown, Thompson! Great body control by Brock Thompson. Crowd felt maybe a push-off on Seven Banks. But it's a 12-yard touchdown catch. O'Connell to Brock Thompson.
Yeah, not much of a push-off. It didn't look like, of course, Seven Banks went flying, and the crowd here doesn't like it. Neither does Ryan Day. Didn't feel like he kind of extended his arm. Still, usually you see that arm go straight, and you see the push up around the shoulder pads. That's one that the officials usually call. Actually quite surprised that that didn't result in an offensive pass interference.
There's a flag down on the point after. So Purdue with a 10-play scoring drive there. Spanned 80 yards. O'Connell spreading it around.
The try is good. Personal foul, leverage. Number 92 of the defense. That penalty being forced on the succeeding kickoff. Timeout.
Brock Thompson has started his career at Marshall, dealt with injuries early on. He's come to Purdue, he's come up with some big plays and some big games. And how about this catch? 35-14 at this point here in the second quarter. Ryan Day wanted that push-off. Not going to happen. Still a 21-point margin. ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Arby's, part of Veterans Week, brought to you by USAA. Ohio State has won 23 straight home games against Big Ten teams, up 35-14 here. Next Saturday at noon, it will be the Buckeyes against Michigan State on ABC. Ohio State has won 5 straight against the Spartans.
What a game that's going to be. And just a moment ago, the reaction on the sideline after the Thompson touchdown, thinking there was an OPI is just classic. Look at the background, though. Ryan Day's reaction, I can't believe that wasn't offensive pass interference, but I'll show you what really sums it up. This right here. That face really sums it up. I can't believe that wasn't pass interference. It's pretty good on the sideline there from Ohio State.
There's the bubble to the outside to Jaxon, Smith-Njigba. He is wrestled down beyond the 30-yard line by Mackey. Well, you want to see what a perfect day of offense looks like. Put up the drive chart for Ohio State in this first half. They have been magnificent from the start.
Just ridiculous. I mean, running it, throwing it, and of course, they've had great field position as well.
And they've had this guy, the freshman, TreVeyon Henderson. He's got a couple of touchdowns at the 57-yard line, tackled there by Marvin Grant.
And this is a spot, too, for Purdue. I mean, George Karlaftis, best player on your team, arguably. David Bell might have an argument for that, but your defensive end, your future first-round pick, he's got to be in a position to make a play. It's been quiet today, guessed wrong on the big TreVeyon Henderson touchdown run. But he's got to make a play at some point because this defense needs some life breathed into it.
I mentioned first-round pick coming up for him. Kuiper just came out with his new prospect list for the draft. He's got him number 21 overall. Stroud tiptoeing that edge is Chris Olave for a completion just short of midfield. 13 yards and another Buckeyes first down.
It's a great job by Olave. Makes it look easy. Gets both of them in. He'll count next year, too, when he's in the league. Good awareness of where he was on the field. And another very accurate throw from the quarterback, C.J. Stroud.
Shift the tight ends over. Wilson takes the jet motion handoff. Garrett Wilson. Here he goes. Goodbye and hello end zone.
They're giving the All-American Karlaftis a ton of looks. This time he's completely unblocked. They just hand the jet sweep right around him. And how about Wilson? Breaking on the inside of Ruckert's block and takes it to the house. Right now, Ohio State has everything it wants, averaging 15 yards per carry.
Excuse me?
15 yards per carry. You heard that correctly. Yes.
15 yards per rush. I think you're going to win some football games if you do that. How good is this Buckeyes team? You be the judge. Wilson's back out there, and this scoreboard is just lighting up on fire here at the Horseshoe. Kevin and Boog, Ohio State has only taken 2 third-down snaps. Think about that. Only 2 times have they taken a third-down snap. I'm going to reset this thing. Noah Ruggles was lining up for the kickoff, and the ball came right off the tee. Watch this.
Look at that thing.
Ball comes off the tee as he's trying to kick it.
At first, I thought it was a surprise onside. I'm like, really? At 42-14? Sure enough, ball just tips over a little bit. Usually when I whiff my driver, I try to blame it on the ball moving, but it doesn't often move. But that time, good excuse.
If you're wondering, by the way, was that technically a legal kick? Did they officiate that right? Absolutely they did. And there's the right way to do that.
Ryan Day said the offense was on edge this week because this group expects to score 50 points per game. When they don't, it's a bad day. So he thought the players practiced better this week. He thought the staff coached better this week due to the edginess in the air at practice. He said the goal coming into this game was to play clean, eliminate the penalties, stay on schedule, and run the ball efficiently, gaining 4 or more yards per run. What did you say it was, Greg? 15 yards right now per run?
Yes.
Unbelievable. That's 50 points per game, by the way, not per half.
O'Connell gets it out to Bell. Katie, we've been marveling over the numbers all week long and sort of laughing that there's been recent criticism, right? Because it's a team that they score 44.9 points per game. That's second nationally. 542 yards per game is second nationally. But they've been, quote-unquote, limited in the last 2 games to 481 yards per game.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, sound the alarms, obviously. Expectations pretty high here in Columbus.
Anthrop trying to get to that edge, and he just gets past Ronnie Hickman.
And I think what people need to acknowledge, too, is this is an Ohio State team that has unbelievable turnover on a year-in, year-out basis. A lot of guys go and head of the league. It's a team that almost won the national championship last year. And they're playing a lot of young guys.
Yes.
A lot more young guys than other rosters. Michigan State, for instance, their offensive line's made up almost exclusively of 5th and 6th year players because of the super seniors. And as a result, when you're 18 or 19 playing against 23-year-olds, you're going to have some growing pains.
This is Bell working his way to midfield. Another first down for Purdue.
And that's, I think, one thing that's been lost a little bit. You've seen teams like Wake Forest and Michigan State, teams with veteran presence, veteran leadership, have had really nice years. Ohio State's very young, and they're a work in progress, but they're very happy with the ceiling and what they're potentially going to have down the road.
Horvath goes ahead for a good run inside the 40. Xander Horvath suffered a broken leg against UConn, Greg, back in week 2. He had a broken leg in week 2, had surgery, and he's already worked his way back to action.
That's pretty impressive. Guy's tough as nails, and it was a welcomed addition to have him back because when they made the switch to Aiden O'Connell, they really lost that quarterback run game. So you got to have a guy in the backfield that can create, and Horvath is that guy.
2nd and 1, and the quick little toss to Garrett Miller, and that'll move the chains again. 7-yard reception. First down for Purdue. O'Connell to the outside. This is to Payne Durham, who Coach Brom did not hesitate at all yesterday in talking about Durham, saying, listen, he's the team leader on offense. I mean, this is the guy that plays the hardest. This is the guy that's the best teammate. He is our team leader on offense.
Yeah, and he's got to be obviously pretty livid with the mistakes they've made, and he's that alpha dog personality on the offensive side of the football.
2nd and 7. O'Connell, as he was looking for David Bell, and the flag will rain down at the 2-yard line. The coverage came from Denzel Burke, the freshman cornerback from Arizona.
Of course, difficult assignment for the freshman, having to match up with one of the best wide receivers in college football. You see the left hand, a little bit of touching there, but I think it's that left hand right there that grabs around the chin, or the collar of the jersey, is what led to pass interference being called. It's a tough assignment. Just goes to show you how much faith Ryan Day and his defensive staff have in the freshman. The first true freshman to start on defense in the opener for Ohio State since Andy Katzenmoyer in the mid-90s. Pretty impressive.
96, yeah.
Unbelievable.
O'Connell to the end zone. He goes and overthrows Bell. Pat on the back from Bell to the young Denzel Burke. Loaded with wide receiver talent in this game, aren't we? Obviously, we've been seeing the big three for Ohio State, and then David Bell, ESPN.com has him top 10 among wide receivers for next April's NFL draft. O'Connell on second down was across the grain over the middle to Anthrop, and that is incomplete. Anthrop thinks that he caught that ball.
It's really close. It was low down around the ankles.
Let's take the 25-yard touchdown earlier today. Let's see what he comes up with here.
Wow.
Boy, look at this fingertip effort.
Wow. What a catch. I mean, it does graze the grass. Really close there. One that they're going to take a look at here.
Boy, on first glance, I think that's a catch. You know, John Perry, we often talk about getting your hands underneath the ball and where you can see the hands and the arms being between the ball and the grass. This is all fingertips.
It is, but the rule is pretty clear. You have to have complete control prior to any of this football touching the turf. I like it as an incomplete pass. He does not have firm control prior to the ball rubbing off the bottom of the ground.
Man, it's really close. John, I mean, this just goes to show you, because I think it's a catch. And it just goes to show you how there is some subjectivity and there is a little bit of gray area in catch, no catch. It's one of the most controversial topics in the world of officiating. And the NFL has had all kinds of issues with catch, no catch. This, to me, and I see what you're saying there, John, is it touched the ground right there.
And, John, that right hand where he only has probably two fingertips on it, you believe...
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called. Incomplete pass. Third down.
You believe that represents enough. Let's say we remove the ground, that he wouldn't at that point still have firm control there with those just two fingers with the right hand being loose.
Yeah, what the referee looks for is for separation between the hand and the ball. Yes, there are fingertips on the ball, but I don't think he would believe that that is firm control of the football. I like what they did there. Nice job by the crew.
Yeah, quick review. Don't waste any unnecessary time. I think had it been called a catch on the field, it would have stood. There just really wasn't anything right there to overturn it. So good job by you, JP.
So third down and 10 for O'Connell and Purdue. O'Connell nearly intercepted as Cameron Brown had a play on it. Brown, who had a big play in that game against Penn State, had an interception there that set up a late field goal with just 4 minutes to play in that game.
Great effort. Great effort there. Just unable to reel it all in. One of the first off-target throws so far we've seen from Aiden O'Connell, who's been very accurate with the football.
Mitchell Finneran comes in for a 32-yard field goal attempt. He had 4 field goals, 4 extra points, and a win against Michigan State. And he splits it here to make it 42-17.
The Hall of Cheese is here to honor fans as dedicated to college football as Cheez-It is to cheese. If that's you, use the hashtag MVCheeseContest to show us why you're worthy.
Ohio State, they went on that tear after the September 11th loss to Oregon. That was their first regular season loss since this Purdue team upset them in 2018. They tore through the overmatched opponents. They got the offense going against Maryland and Indiana after that. And then the last couple weeks, a little tighter against Penn State and on the road at Nebraska. And you come back, get Garrett Wilson back healthy and just tearing it up in this first half. 42-17. Ibuka on the return as he spins down just beyond the 25. Kevin, what's up? Now, Oklahoma was sitting there at number 8 when the College Football Playoff Selection Committee put forth the rankings, and everybody said, don't worry about Oklahoma because all the big games are coming up. Baylor, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, that Bedlam showdown, Big 12 championship. Well, they didn't get past test 1. Baylor gets Oklahoma today.
It just makes Baylor's performance last week against TCU even more just unbelievable.
Mayan Williams now. A good run by Mayan Williams. Cam Allen had to corral him, but not in time before 22 yards are in the books for Mayan Williams.
Yeah, how about the right side of the offensive line there? Harris Johnson, the right guard, big number 77, helping lead the way. The offensive line looks much better today than they did at any point last week.
Bring the tight ends in, Ruckert and Rossi, and Williams joins Stroud in the backfield here on first down. And he continues to find big holes, and it's another first down for Ohio State as he gets it to the Purdue 40-yard line, tackled by Jalen Alexander.
As you see this Ohio State offense, I mean, just ridiculous how efficient they've been. Have yet to be stopped.
We have the umpire down on the field. Big Ten official Tim Owens is down on the field. I believe a Purdue player ran into him. It's always a scary position for that official to play.
Yeah, it was, as he was setting the ball down, the Purdue player was leaving the field, and the substitution just wasn't paying attention and just caught him kind of awkwardly as he was standing up. So hopefully he's okay.
I'll show you what happened to Tim.
And there he is. You see him.
Wow.
Number 15.
John Perry, your father was the head of officials in this conference. You worked in this league. You know it well, and you know the mechanics of the game. What just happened there?
Okay, this is just part of the territory, part of what we do. There are times that you're just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. This is a defender that's leaving the field, has no idea that the umpire's there. Umpire has no idea he's there because he just put the ball in the turf, comes up and he gets his head hit, it looks like, or at least the upper body. Hopefully he'll head in, get checked out. Hopefully he'll be good to go for the second half.
Yeah, and you can see DeMarcus Mitchell. It's on. He didn't even see him there. I mean, his reaction was almost stunned as he ran right through the umpire.
And now they make the rotation with the officials to cover for the umpire being out, as this is quickly out to Olave. Stroud with the completion to Olave. 9 yards there. Stroud 3 touchdown passes today, 195 yards. Everybody's gotten involved. Good job up front by Purdue as Williams was driven back by Karlaftis. They're excellent defensive linemen.
Really the first opportunity he's had to make a play. Ohio State's given him a million different looks. He's been unblocked. They've booted to him. They've run jet sweeps his way. It's been a tough day for number 5. So Ohio State has been playing with his rhythm.
First tackle for loss of the day for Purdue. Flag is down as Stroud then throws it away. So Karlaftis now with 8.5 TFLs on the season. And we got some heated moments up front. Graham, Jalen Graham, and DeJuan Jones. DeJuan Jones, who goes 6'8", 360. So you're trying to calm down Jalen Graham, the linebacker for Purdue. A very active player. He's trying to state his case as to what happened.
prior to the ball being snapped offside. Defense number 58. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 6. Unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 11. It's their first unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. Those penalties offset. First down.
See him talking to Stroud.
Carried that on all the way back. Smith-Njigba catches him here in just a second. There he is, and that's where it started to go down. I actually kind of like Smith-Njigba protecting his quarterback there. Of course, I'm sure that's shocking as a former quarterback. Why anyone would feel like I feel that way.
Williams trying to shake free in the backfield and just gets 2.5 yards. Grant with the tackle there.
One thing that Purdue's done a really good job of in the big games that they've had, they've tackled really well. I mean, really, really well. That talking to their defensive coordinator, Brad Lambert, so that's really the strength of who we are defensively is we don't give up yards after contact. We do a great job getting guys to the ground. Not the case today. I mean, there have been so many opportunities where Buckeyes made Boilermakers look silly with some of the moves in the open field.
Here is Smith-Njigba. Oh, what a move inside the 20. He is shifty, isn't he? He is so good in quick space, Greg.
And just to do it justice, let's do it in slow-mo. What? And that's where you press the L1 on the PlayStation remote. He jumps back inside.
Marvin Grant was trying to get a hold of him, and he came up with air.
Great move there by the talented slot receiver.
And you saw Wilson and JSN move on the top of your screen.
False start. Offense number 5. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Penalty marks ball at the 20-yard line. First down, 15, Ohio State.
Thanks for 1st and 15. Stroud looking left, goes out there to JSN, and he was wrapped up by Cam Allen immediately.
Tackled there in the open field by Cam Allen. And if Purdue's going to have any hope of getting back in this game, they got to play like that throughout the second half.
Quick strike to the near side to Olave.
Way
Marked
too
out at the 8-yard line.
Way too many big plays given up by Purdue throughout the course of this game. We see Olave here on the sideline. Did he secure the catch?
I don't believe he did.
Yeah, ball's moving a little bit there as he went out of bounds. Purdue is going to take a timeout, and maybe they're going to review it.
Well, this week on Sunday NFL Countdown, an all-access look inside Russell Wilson's remarkable recovery as he gets set to return against the Packers. And of course, Randy Moss will rank the best catches. You got Moss. 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN is Sunday NFL Countdown.
They are currently the officials taking a look at this last play. Called a catch on the field. You see the ball still moving a little bit as he goes out of bounds. I don't know if he ever has secured the catch officially before he gets out. I think that ball's still moving. So I actually think this is going to be overturned and be declared an incompletion.
John Perry, what do you think?
Joe, I've got incomplete. You know, we correlate different things different times during the game. The ball is moving just slightly, and at the very end you can see that there is a rotation of the ball and the hands try to recup the football. He doesn't have control of this football until he is clearly out of bounds. I like it as an incomplete pass.
Chris Olave has had such an amazing career. 158 receptions now in his Ohio State career. That is top 5 all time. Over 2,400 yards. A word, that descriptive that keeps coming up. You said it yesterday when it comes to Olave, is smooth.
So smooth. I mean, just outrageously smooth. Almost to the point where he's so smooth it's almost hard on the quarterback because he never really declares or indicates when he's going to get in and out of breaks. The guy just glides. It's amazing to watch.
After further review, the ruling on the field has changed. The receiver juggled the football and did not complete the process of the catch before stepping out of bounds. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down and 8 at the 13-yard line. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 28 seconds. 28 seconds.
28 seconds until Purdue will head to the locker room in the first half that they'd like to put in the rearview mirror as quickly as possible. Ohio State is just shy of 400 total yards right now. So it'll be 3rd and 8. Stroud and the gang back out there. 28 seconds remain in this first half. Wilson was looking for another score. He was met up by Chris Jefferson. Garrett Wilson has 2 touchdown receptions, has the spectacular 51-yard touchdown run already today.
They are not happy with the officials, thinking that should have been pass interference. There's definitely some contact on the outside. It appeared that Chris Jefferson did get his head back just in time, but there's a lot of contact between him and Wilson.
30-yard attempt for Ruggles. He has 17 straight made, and you can make it 18. (45-17). Tied for the most points scored in a half against a Big Ten opponent in Ohio State history. Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is a proud sponsor of ESPN College Football. Just over 3 years removed from Purdue's incredible upsets of then number 3 Ohio State. Season where they missed the CFP. They went 12-1. Here's Ohio State at number 4, having worked their way back up after the early season loss to Oregon. And now they're just rolling through the Boilermakers just before the half. Fair catch inside the 15. Offensive numbers this year have been spectacular. Top 5 nationally in scoring offense, total offense. Today here they are with 45 points up. Stroud's over 200 yards passing and 3 touchdowns and 19 of 25 throwing the ball.
How about this?
Yeah, Purdue. And they've done this before, by the way. In fact, one of the defensive analysts for Ohio State, Ricky Brown, scouted this week and gave the heads up to Matt Barnes, saying, I went all the way back. I found them doing this against Western Kentucky before the half. And sure enough, Ricky Brown was correct.
It's like the annexation of Puerto Rico right there, the little Giants.
45-17. 7 possessions, 6 touchdowns for Ohio State in the first half. 391 total yards of offense. 45-17. The Capital One halftime report is still to come after these messages.
You're watching Veterans Week coverage on ESPN, brought to you by USAA.
Back with you for ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Arby's as part of Veterans Week, brought to you by USAA. Number 4 team in the country, up 45-17. Jaxon, Smith-Njigba, Garrett, Wilson combining for 14 catches, 170 yards, and 4 total touchdowns in just dominating performance of offensive fireworks from the Buckeyes. Moments ago, this was Katie with Ryan Day.
Coach Day, your offense was pretty close to perfect. What impressed you most about that first half performance?
I thought we ran the ball better in the first half. I thought, obviously we created some explosive plays and making good decisions, but it's just the one half of football. We got a lot to play, but at least we're controlling the line of scrimmage a little bit. We got to clean some things up for sure, but it's a good start.
Purdue was able to move the ball fairly well in the second quarter. Any tweaks you want to see on defense?
I just think, it's a long game, so we got to keep playing, just to give them a couple completions, they get into a rhythm. So, even though we're up a little bit, we got to keep playing football.
Thank you for the time.
A whole lot of coach in some of those answers. That's about as close to perfect as you can get when you assess that first half. Listen, Garrett Wilson's back this week. You see every piece of weaponry put forth, and then C.J. Stroud, the young quarterback, doing his thing.
They've been outstanding. I mean, so in rhythm, so good running the football. I think we know that the weapons on the perimeter are unbelievable. We know that. What I'm most encouraged by is how this offensive line has responded. After a week, or really 2 weeks, of kind of up and down play, they've had their way with a Purdue front that's actually pretty dang good.
Henderson tries to spin forward for a few. Henderson had that dynamic 57-yarder in the first half.
Yeah, and as you see this Ohio State team, I mean, they have so many pieces. Here's TreVeyon Henderson right after a fumble when Purdue was in Ohio State territory. Buckeyes jump on it, turn it into a big play. And then they hand it off to Wilson. Here he is on the end around. And he jogs into the end zone. I mean, just 2 of about 7 or 8 plays that could have made the highlight. Just been so good in the first 30 minutes.
3rd and 3, just an easy pitch and catch to Garrett Wilson. As that's another first down, as Wilson's been targeted 9 times now, 8 catches, 19 yards there.
9 times. Every time you say that, I think of Ferris Bueller, but a great catch there. Excellent, excellent hands and, of course, awareness where he's at on the field.
Stroud, plenty of time, going to go deep, got a man wide open and into the arms of Chris Olave. Flag is down, we'll check on that as Olave got open downfield.
Offense, number 88. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Tagging the tight end, Ruckert with holding.
And he had a difficult matchup here. He has to block the All-American, George Karlaftis. You're going to see him one-on-one. And honestly, you're going to watch Ruckert. He throws Karlaftis to the ground here late, right there. Good job by Karlaftis initially getting rid of him, but man, I gotta be honest. I mean, I don't love the call. And I can understand why C.J. Stroud is upset. And Seemed to me like it was a better block than it was a hold. I didn't see hands outside. I didn't see any jersey getting tugged. A little surprised that the official called that one.
Walk it back to a 1st and 20. Stroud in cut, and Jaxon Smith-Njigba, as he has come on so strong, and that is complete for 26 yards, 13 of it coming after the catch for a 1st down.
Yeah, I mean, just perfect timing. And look at the roll 6 right there in between the 2 zone dropping defenders. Just a strike from CJ Stroud. He has really played in rhythm today. It's been fun to watch.
Just like that to the Purdue 33-yard line. Stroud. Flag is down as he goes to Wilson. Stroud came in 6th nationally in passing yards per game. He's got 257 at this point.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 5. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
And he's moving. You'll see Wilson. And this is actually on the quarterback. He's got to wait for his guys to get set. Just one quick look from CJ Stroud, and you avoid the 5-yard penalty. He's played beautifully, so we're obviously nitpicking a little bit with his responsibilities, but you got to let your guys get set up for a half second before you snap the ball.
That was right into what Ryan Day said, right? Henderson spinning for a couple extra. We said, you listen to that halftime interview, and they play about as flawless a first half of offense. And we still got to clean some things up. There are still little things you always have to clean up.
Yeah, we saw their punter once, and it was while he was holding
that's right.
a field goal there at the end. So I would say, yeah, maybe some things to clean up. Maybe they want to work on their 3- and 4-yard plays as opposed to their 15- and 16-yard plays. But like I said, we know this team's got firepower. We know they got great weapons, great speed, great skill. But the group that's needed to come on for them if they want to be a national championship contender has to be that O-line. They've been so much better today.
If it was my job to run the ball, I'd be a running back. 7 days ago, says C.J. Stroud. As he loses a yard there, forced out by Cam Allen. This was the exact quote that he gave of the recent questioning as to why we just don't see much of the quarterback run in the game plan for Ohio State. And Stroud was asked directly. That's what he said.
You always want what you don't have, right? He's throwing the ball magically, playing great, but he's not running it enough. I mean, same thing going with Bryce Young. Alabama fans saying the same thing. Why didn't he run the ball? Well, he's throwing it great.
Exactly. 3rd down and 11. Stroud, shallow cross underneath as he goes to JSN, who tried to reach out for that line to gain, and Markham maybe just a yard short.
It's a good effort there. Thought he might have had it, but just a little bit short. This is where you want to lean on that offensive line, especially in particular the right side of that offensive line. You got Paris Johnson, Dewan Jones, the right side of that offensive line combined. Those guys are a cool 685 pounds. I'm running it right behind them in a 4th and short situation.
4th and 1 with Stroud and Henderson. Going to pass on 4th and 1. And easily doing it with Wilson, who makes a move, stiff arms, and scores again. That is his 3rd touchdown catch of the day. He also has the touchdown run. He has been spectacular today.
And this is great by Ohio State. Man beater, you get a little bit of a rub. Sometimes, though, you try to work that out route off the rub. This time, the in route breaks free. He's wide open on the slant. And a great job after the catch by Wilson yet again.
Remember, didn't play last week against Nebraska. And this is a guy who Mel Kiper has very high, has a number 16 overall in next year's NFL draft. All-America candidate for Ohio State. And more explosive plays, right? The 7th Ohio State explosive play of 20 or more yards. Garrett Wilson 52-17. Monday Night Football coming your way with the Rams visiting San Francisco, 8 Eastern on ESPN. Monday Night Countdown gets the night started at 6 Eastern. Look at Brutus sitting there. So Garrett Wilson has 9 catches, 110 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And yet his best play of the game may have been on the ground. His one rush for 51 yards and that score. 4 total touchdowns for Wilson, 52-17, Ohio State. Let's go to the field with Katie George.
Well, guys, Jeff Brom knows a good football team when he sees one. When I caught up with him at half, he said it's simple. They're making plays, and we're not. But what he did say was the way his group responds in the second half will likely dictate the way that they finish this season. So he wants to see resiliency from this group, win or lose.
A lot that can be learned in situations like this.
Absolutely.
A lot you find out about yourself as a team.
100%. Just keep fighting. Get some momentum. I mean, if you don't win this one, get some momentum for next week.
Doru, good run, well blocked, and he goes for 11 yards. He's been dealing with an illness this year, so for King Doru, there's actually some days he can't practice at all.
It's nice to have him and Horvath back in the lineup, too, for this offense. And obviously, there's still a pass-first bunch. That's not going to change. But it certainly is nice to have a couple weapons at running back that you can use as well, including Jaxon Anthrop.
That is who they get it out to, as Anthrop patiently waits for the blocks and goes for 9 yards.
And as you look at what Purdue has left over, I mean, winning today would have been remarkable, but there's a very strong probability that they'll be heavily favored against Northwestern and then likely favored against Indiana as well. So Purdue in a position of strength, staring very much at an 8-4 season.
There's a first down picked up by Doru. Listen, Greg, if you're Purdue and you can have an 8-4 season where you have 2 wins over teams that were ranked in the top 5 at the time.
Absolutely.
That's a very successful season.
It's a historical season for Purdue. I mean, this is the first time when we're looking at all the notes and everything. This is the first time since 1960 they've beaten 2 top 5 teams in the same season. I mean, there's so much to be proud of with this team.
O'Connell gets it to Wright, and Wright wrestled after crossing midfield and thrown back, but he did get to the 49. And now getting a little chippy out there. Saw some John last time. And the flag is thrown as Cameron Brown was involved.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 69. That's his first of the ball game. 15-yard penalty. It is second down.
It's Greg Long, transfer from UTEP, and left tackle.
As you see right here, him throwing his guy off.
He's trying to clean up the pile a bit and protect the receiver.
It's late, and it's one that you'll come back to and say, hey, we don't want to make unnecessary mistakes, because now you're behind the sticks on a dead ball foul. But you also, at the same time, within the locker room, kind of like that you go and protect your guy. Similar to what happened earlier in the game when Jaxon Smith-Njigba got hit.
They fake the flea flicker, and then Horvath runs ahead. We've seen a little bit of everything from Jeff Brom, as we often do. We had his entire offensive line lined up. By the way, here comes Greg Long. Greg Long had one of the more interesting moments in college football. You do recall, Greg McElroy, when he gained national attention after the Iowa game, when a fan threw a beer on the field, and Greg decided in celebration, I'm going to pick that thing up and just chuck it. That's what I'm going to do right now.
You got to love that. I think he probably got in a little bit of trouble for that, but worth every second. Viral video, of course. A legend. now amongst some of the guys on the internet, that's for sure.
3rd and 10 and the completion to TJ Sheffield. So listen, Katie set it up in her discussion with Jeff Brom about, hey, scoreboard is what it is. There's things still to be accomplished here, and that's what's happening on this drive with Aiden O'Connell.
Absolutely. And Aiden O'Connell is going to continue to fight, and this Purdue team will continue to fight. There's no doubt about that. And I think the biggest, most frustrating thing for Purdue is they can look at this and say, yeah, they're super dynamic, but there have been some self-inflicted mistakes that we made as well.
O'Connell wants the end zone, and he gets it with Milton Wright. 29-yard touchdown, Aiden O'Connell to Milton Wright.
And how about the throw? Heavy play action. You get the safeties to just set their feet for a half second, and you throw it up over the top. That time is Bryson Shaw, number 17, who got caught looking in the backfield, had to hesitate on the run action fake, and allows Milton Wright in behind him. Just an excellent throw and catch and great design for the Purdue offense.
And Milton Wright has shown plenty of fights. Milton Wright has 6 catches for 90 yards, and this touchdown right here from Aiden O'Connell. He's been thinking about his mom, Kathy, who underwent surgery yesterday, talking about her courageous attitude. Well, Purdue's still going to fight no matter the score here in the second half.
Great guest list for the Mannings tonight.
You've reached Peyton and Eli. Leave a message.
This is Liam Neeson. I have a very particular set of skills, none of which involves watching game film. Watch Peyton and Eli. You never know who will drop by.
Always fun to be with the Mannings on a Monday night as you're watching the Big Ten on ABC. There's a lot of chatter this week about the spoiler makers and could they do it again? Yet they understood this would be the toughest challenge of this upset-seeking team. This is Ibuka on the return. And he maintains his footing. That's a heck of a return from Emeka Ibuka. Taco Bell welcomes you to the Live Más Student Section of the Year contest. Use hashtag Student Section Sauce, and you can get the community's attention. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete. It's a 34-yard kickoff return from Ibuka. Stroud back to pass again. Downfield again, looking for Olave. It's incomplete. He's targeted Olave 7 times today. The big target has been Garrett Wilson. Stroud wanted PI against Jefferson. They're not going to get it, but Wilson has just been incredible today, hasn't he?
He's been amazing. He always is. I mean, I just love watching this young man play. He has great hands, great feel, and does a really good job of using his body in space and finding separation. You see him here in the open field on the end around, and here he is. How about this one? On 4th and short, catches the slant. How about this?
Look at that bottom line.
In the history of Ohio State football, he is the first one with a day like he's had today. 3 receiving touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. That's amazing.
Well, just think about the superstars in the history of Ohio State. And it's Wilson who's the first player in the great history of Ohio State football. A place that's had 7 Heisman Trophy winners, right? To have 3 receiving touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown in a game.
It's amazing. I mean, the historical significance of that is remarkable, but the crazy thing is just kind of unsurprising. That's how good he is. I mean, he's just an absolute superstar.
3rd and 11 for C.J. Stroud, a blossoming star as a redshirt freshman. Goes on the shallow cross to Olave, who's just going to settle it in at the 46-yard line.
When you start to think about this Ohio State team, and we're going to see their punter the first time today. Just the amount of weapons that they have at their disposal and the way they can spread the field both horizontally and vertically is pretty remarkable.
Under 6.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter, and this is the first time that Jesse Mirko comes out to punt. The freshman from Perth, Australia. Didn't need to stay busy today, did he? Beautiful night here in Columbus, Ohio. And they love the way that scoreboard is lighted as well.
This is Specialist Jacob Walker with the 40th Public Affairs Detachment, 101st Airborne Division Air Assault. I'd like to shout out the Ohio State University. Let's go Buckeyes!
And we thank all our service members. Look at Brutus with the flight jacket there. School's mascot since 1965. And we got in the elevator earlier today. See those bomber jackets that our friends in the U.S. Navy were wearing, and had a great conversation with those guys who did the flyover today. Jaxon Anthrop with a good run here for 11 yards. We had the F-18 earlier today here in Columbus.
That's right. F-18 flyover. Just so neat and so grateful.
What did your granddad fly back in the day?
My granddad flew the F-15, and we have there's a very, very good back and forth between F-18 and F-15 pilots. The F-15 is the Cadillac, the F-18 is the Corvette. And that's a very, very delicate subject if you tell them that you prefer one over the other.
This is Brock Thompson on the reception. Thompson had that sensational 12-yard touchdown catch earlier today.
And don't look now. Obviously, it's still a very significant margin for Purdue, but in some momentum, I'm sure a big part of the conversation at halftime for Jeff Brom was, hey, we got to win the second half, and obviously the score here could give them the opportunity to potentially do that.
O'Connell trying to get it to David Bell. He was well covered that time.
Very well covered. Tell you what, I've been very impressed with Ohio State's cover guys, Denzel Burke in particular. The coverage has been excellent. Now, they've obviously given up a couple plays, but you're going to against a team that's this capable with the ball in the air. But I think this Ohio State secondary has really grown since week one all the way up until where they're at today, to the point now where there's maybe a bit of a question mark, but it's become a position of strength very quickly.
3rd down and 7. Strike right at the sticks to David Bell. David Bell came in leading the Big Ten with 8 catches per game, averaging over 125 receiving yards per game. Greg, you opened up the night by saying he'd be your #1 choice for the Biletnikoff. I assume, listen, the numbers are great, what he's done is great, but the 2 big wins, that's when he was at his absolute best.
Completely. Totally took over the game against both Iowa and against Michigan State.
And O'Connell getting it to Sheffield.
And ironically enough, I mean, if you look at all 3 Ohio State wide receivers, I'll just give you an idea of what it looks like. I do vote for the Biletnikoff, and there are 10 spots that you have to submit when submitting your semifinalist. And all 3 Ohio State wide receivers were in the top 10, which is crazy to tell you just how good those guys are.
But it's fair and accurate. Horvath with the carry there. You look at the productivity of Smith-Njigba. You consider how good Wilson and Olave are. I mean, it's the best group of wide receivers in the country.
Yeah, no denying that. So this actually, if you want to coin it this, it's kind of the Biletnikoff showdown. As Wilson, of course, has had a remarkable day today with his 4 touchdowns.
2nd and 5. O'Connell swings it to Horvath. Horvath squaring those shoulders and picking up yards after the catch before Burke had to run him out. And he goes for 19 yards on 2nd and 5.
And this is a nice job here by David Bell. Man coverage from Ohio State, so Burke's going to collapse with him. And as you see, the guy who's in coverage on Horvath, looked like it was Tommy Eichenberg, whoever it was, the linebacker, he kind of got hit, which led to the big play.
Horvath survives that first hit that came his way from Marcus Williamson. Horvath, 6'3", 230 pounds, fifth-year senior. And doctors were saying, listen, he has a broken leg, has a surgery. He's just going to get more and more confident as the weeks go on in overcoming the injury, being able to get back to full form. I think you're seeing more of that today.
Yeah, he's a big piece and will be down the stretch as it becomes more difficult to throw in what could be cold weather the next few weeks here in Big Ten country.
Milton Wright with his 7th catch of the afternoon. Cameron Brown with the tackle. That's a first down for Purdue. 339-yard day for Aiden O'Connell. This guy was so under-recruited, Greg. First committed to Division III Wheaton, then walked on at Purdue. He's been so productive this year. First and goal. And they're going to bring it in for a score. Did you just say, as Jaxon Anthrop crosses the goal line, don't look now, bud? All of a sudden you look up at that scoreboard and there's Purdue. They just keep fighting and fighting. And they're piecing together a good third quarter.
And this is just a easy West Coast offense play. Q8 is what it's called. Sprint right option. You get a little rub, a little mesh, and what defenses like to call a little pick. And it springs Anthrop for the touchdown.
Fine line between the rub and the pick. And the bottom line is the touchdown there with Jaxon Anthrop.
And this is twice now on this drive that Bell really serves as the mesh guy, the rub guy, or the pick guy, if you will. As you see, he runs up and just kind of has a slight collision with Marcus Williamson, who's in coverage. And Anthrop breaks wide open into the flat. You said that there's a fine line between mesh and pick. Well, the line is what side of the ball are you on?
That's right.
If you're an offensive player, it's called a mesh. If you're a defensive player, it's called a pick. Either way, it was well executed there by Purdue, and understandable why the Ohio State sideline wanted the offensive pass interference.
O'Connell's 35 of 43 for 348 yards, 4 touchdowns. Hasn't thrown an interception today.
He's having a day, man.
He really is.
He's having a heck of a day. And this young man is so accurate and has been very poised.
Let's remind you of what is set to come your way as the evening continues in a full day of college football. Right here on ABC, you will see number 9 Notre Dame down there in Charlottesville to take on Virginia. Virginia, we will see what they have to offer. Brennan Armstrong's been sensational this year, but he has been banged up. See how much he can offer tonight.
I'll be curious to see, too, for Virginia. Can they get off the field defensively?
That's right.
Because I stayed up as late as I could the other night, and I saw BYU go up and down the field against that Virginia defense. So hopefully that Virginia group has improved, and they're going to have to face a very good rushing attack for Notre Dame today.
Here's Wilson. Look at that move there. Flag comes in as he just gave one quick juke and was able to pick up extra yardage.
Forced out of bounds by Chris Jefferson. Penalty marker on the flag.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference as the pass was first touched behind the line of scrimmage. Result of the play is a first down.
And good job of cleaning that up by the officials. You can, of course, if the ball's thrown behind the line of scrimmage, you can initiate contact. So a good job there by the officials. And how about Wilson? I mean, just give him the ball. And you see what is usually a very good tackling defense in Purdue. Not the case against the talented ball carrier.
Henderson goes ahead for 4 yards there. Marvin Grant made the tackle. College football playoff rankings are brought to you by Goodyear.
You can see that loss by Oklahoma, pretty significant. Michigan State playing quite well. It looks like they've not going to allow the hangover to come into play against Maryland. Ohio State in complete control. It appears as though Georgia is doing the exact same. So won't be a ton of changes next week, assuming all the results hold.
Olave turns the corner, gives a stiff arm, and another that time against Mackey. That was on 2nd and 6. As Chris Olave goes for 13 yards and another first down for the Buckeyes.
How about this right here? I mean, it's like a running back stiff arm there.
Don't you love when receivers are physical?
I love
Don't you? Whether it's blocking downfield or just fighting for the extra yards, a stiff arm like that.
100%. I love it.
Final half minute here of this third quarter. Third quarter saw Ohio State take the ball, come right out, get up 52-17, and then Aiden O'Connell and Purdue. As we heard Katie tell us, Jeff Brom just wanted to see them fight, see them play to the end, and they have. As O'Connell had right for the 29-yard touchdown, Anthrop moments ago. But this Ohio State team, now over 500 yards of offense. 518 yards of offense through 3 quarters of football. 52-31. Wilson had his 4th touchdown of the day to start this second half. And then Purdue, they're still getting after it. College football presented by Arby's returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. $101,009 here at Ohio Stadium have come out to see their Buckeyes up 52-31 as we start the fourth quarter. And they started off the way it's been going all day, with a pitch and catch of Stroud to one of his talented receivers. This is Olave for a first down. So 9 possessions for Ohio State. Greg, 7 of them are touchdowns. They had 1 field goal, and the last drive ended in a punt. And that was halfway through the third quarter until they punted today.
So that's fairly impressive offensive output. Very efficient, really, in every facet offensively. There hasn't been anything they haven't been able to do today. It's been very impressive.
Stroud. And another completion. Good job hanging on to the ball with Chris Olave, who was met right away by Chris Jefferson. Ohio State is averaging almost 10 yards per play. They're at 9.8. But Purdue still had a good day offensively. They're at 7.4 right now.
Yeah, very much so. And Ohio State's offense, of course, good throw here. Good job hanging onto the football with the contact from Olave. I mean, this Purdue offense has done a really good job. They really have throughout the course of the game. But Ohio State's just at a whole nother level with their athleticism.
Henderson pushes it ahead and gets to the 10-yard line.
Henderson with the carry.
See Aiden O'Connell sitting back and watching.
I think it really begs the question for Ohio State. While people have kind of nitpicked the last couple weeks, hey, what's going on with the offense? The concerns for Ohio State fans still need to be with Ohio State's defense. Doesn't need to be with their offense. They're going to be fine on this side of the ball.
Henderson, that'll be 1st and goal. Well, they made the change earlier this year when it came to the defensive play calling as Matt Barnes took over those duties. But we talked about the fact that they've got a superb staff. And then, a guy like Paul Rhodes, former Iowa State head coach, who's been a defensive wizard his whole career as one of your analysts in the facility. I actually met up with Paul pregame, and he said you can see the incremental growth week after week, developing, everything tracking in the right direction as things continue to go. Far from where they were week 2, right, Greg, against Oregon?
No doubt about it.
1st and goal. Stroud. Olave reaching out. and adding to it. Five-yard touchdown for Chris Olave. C.J. Stroud has 5 touchdown passes today. .357 yards of passing to C.J. Stroud. The big three, Smith-Njigba, Wilson, and Chris Olave. Chris Olave, 9 catches on the day. And put a star next to that one. The touchdown to make it 59-31. Now, listen, we love to say the best, the greatest, the this, and all the superlatives we heap on this current group of receivers at Ohio State. Just look at the day. I mean, just look at the numbers. We've got 12 minutes of football to play, and these are the numbers.
It's unbelievable. And what's crazy, too, I mean, the ball just doesn't hit the ground. If it gets within, gosh, almost 5 feet in any direction around any of those 3 guys, they catch it. I mean, they're just so fantastic, so fun to watch.
Maceo kicks away. Fair catch at the 11-yard line. Katie?
Well, I asked Ryan Day, guys, yesterday what makes Chris Olave so good. And he said what he can do in his first 10 yards is incredible. He has great speed. He also can track a deep ball as good as anyone Ryan Day has ever been around. But he says he's got strong hands for a skinny guy. Day says he's wiry, strong, but above all else, he's a competitor. Olave has made a lot of clutch plays at Ohio State in rivalry games and in the CFP, but he has this uncanny ability to step up when his team needs him most. Look at him stretching out for that pylon. I love it.
Flip it back. Goes Purdue as he goes back into the hands of Horvath. So Olave has the touchdown moments ago. That's 33 career touchdowns now. The all-time Ohio State record, Greg, is 34 receiving touchdowns all-time by David Boston.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Just what a career he's had. And I remember we came to practice probably 4 years ago, and I remember Urban Meyer pointing out Olave. I believe he wore number 18 at the time. And he said, look, this guy right here is going to be ridiculous. And he'd never talked about players like that, because everyone he's had over the course of his career is like amazing. And he said that guy right there, he was a true freshman. The name, of course, you just remember the name. And it stuck with me. It's just amazing what he's blossomed into. Urban Meyer was all over it when he projected the success that Olave would have here in Columbus.
Bell had the 9-yard reception, and now Doru with the run. He's going to be right at that line again. Javonte Jean-Baptiste with the tackle. He's one of those many players from the Big North Conference in New Jersey. He went to Bergen Catholic. Dot this Ohio State roster. So much talent comes out of that conference, the Big North.
You look at this group, too, up front. I mean, defensively, of course, here on a 4th and 1, no surprise that Purdue's going for it. But defensively, been pretty stout against the run today. Let's see if they can be again here on 4th and short.
Whistles blow pre-snap because of a timeout called by Ohio State.
Timeout, Ohio State. Their first of the half.
We'll take that break with them. Matt Barnes, defensive play caller, looks things over. 11 minutes to go. 4th and 1 when we return.
College football on ABC is presented by Arby's. We have the meats.
All the famous sevens in Ohio State history, including that guy who's in studio right now on ESPN, Joey Galloway, Cornelius Green, first African-American starting quarterback in Ohio State history. And we've got a number 7 in C.J. Stroud, who has 5 touchdown passes today, 357 yards. He's been just dynamic, coming off a 400-yard game again last week. But today's been spreading around to the big three, to Smith-Njigba, Wilson, and Olave. And now a 4th and 1 off the timeout for Purdue. As Ohio State called for the timeout. And they go with David Bell on the jet motion. And the All-America candidate or receiver carries the ball to move the chains for the Boilermakers.
Yeah, I love this guy, man. He is such a special playmaker. And that time, I like that they went to this too, because Ohio State, before the timeout, had indicated that they were going to squeeze that defensive line. So, hey, take it, take a picture, see if you can't head to him around the edge.
Steel Chambers comes up and fits that run. You mentioned it earlier. He was a running back during spring camp, moved to defense in fall camp, and he's really, especially in recent weeks, he's developing into one of their best linebackers.
Yeah, and it's great to have depth at that position. I do think with some of the pieces that they've lost, as you can see, Steel Chambers coming in, providing a big hit. Some of the pieces that they lost last year off last year's team at the second level, they roll a bunch of guys in the front seven defensively, and at linebacker, Steel Chambers has been a real nice surprise.
O'Connell on 2nd and 11 to David Bell.
O'Connell's pass complete to David Bell.
As you see David Bell getting awfully close now to 100 yards on the day.
He's 1,500-yard games in his career.
He's right at 100, make it 16.
That's
Out
right.
of 27 career games, he has 16 100-yard games. That's 60% of his games, he's going over 100 yards. It's pretty remarkable.
He's right at 100 yards right now. 3rd and 2. O'Connell, look at the time he's got. Let's see where they mark this ball. And that will be a first down with David Bell.
O'Connell's pass complete to David Bell.
You're going to see Aiden O'Connell. He looks right at David Bell initially. Not there, because Burke did a good job initially in coverage. Very physical, by the way, on the outside in coverage. But Bell is able to just break free at the very end, come back to his quarterback, get friendly, and pick up the conversion.
Wright had to come back to it.
Well, guys, David Bell has an incredibly supportive family, but that doesn't mean his granny, Karen Butler, doesn't call asking questions. Last week after the Michigan State win, she wanted to know why her grandson caught the ball on the right sideline and tried to cut back in, ultimately getting tackled. Bell said, "I don't know, Granny, I just got tired." Her response, "Well, when you were a kid, you never got tired. You finished first in your sprints. I guess you're getting old on me. Maybe you need to go out on the track and run some more." So Granny is pretty tough on her grandson, but her and her husband Greg are very proud of David, and they're watching from home as we speak.
It's a good ball to Jaxon Anthrop. I mean, can you imagine? The guy had 217 yards. Katie, he had 217 yards, and that's what she's saying.
Granny
Good enough
knows.
for Granny, not good enough for Granny.
Yeah,
she wants more.
Granny expects more. Granny must be a coach or something, because I feel like 217 could have been 218. I mean, I don't know, what more you want. You gotta love that. It's amazing.
She's a big part of the reason why he even went to Purdue. He wanted to stay within at least 90 minutes, he said. And she has some struggles with a medical condition, so Indy's about an hour away, and family tries to get as many games as possible, both home and on the road. And he's had just a remarkable career. 11 catches tonight, 103 yards. Britt, you mentioned 16 100-yard receiving games now, a school record.
The crazy thing is he's only played 27 games. I mean, 16 out of 27 is ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
2nd and 8, looking for more as it's incomplete. And coverage came from Denzel Burke. And listen, Denzel Burke is obviously a massive recruit, a guy who's good enough to hit the field right away. But this is the kind of night where you get a real solid test against David Bell and you get better.
Absolutely. And he's been up to the task. I mean, he's had good coverage. I mean, Bell's just... he's going to make his plays. He's a volume guy. You're going to face him a bunch, and those guys will probably match up some point on Sundays as well. Very, very bright futures for both Bell and for Burke.
3rd and 8. O'Connell, that is broken up. And that was Ransom coming up to put an end to that. Nathan Ransom put the hit on Doru.
Yeah, very nice hit to dislodge the football. Set up 4th and 8 here. Let's see if Jeff Brom tries to work that in route that he's hit a couple times to Milton Wright. It's actually been a really good route for him. Let's see if they try to work that right there from number 0.
4th down and 8 to the end zone. Incomplete as Bell couldn't hold on to it.
I can't believe he dropped that. It's a great throw. I mean, Bell almost never drops it, and he has one right in his grasp on 4th down. As Purdue had a chance, his granny's watching at home. That's not going to be a phone call he's looking forward to receiving tomorrow.
No. Back here in Columbus. 59-31. 7:40 to play. Stroud. Going to probably see a lot of Mayan Williams down the stretch here. Let's go to the studio and check in with Kevin.
Mayan Williams on the carry. Working on the outside, Kamari Brown. It's 5 yards to the 29, 2nd down 5.
And it's critical for their success. When he has been on, that team can score. It'll be an uphill challenge without him against the Irish if he can't go. Williams on 2nd and 5. A good run by Mayan Williams. Tiptoes the sidelines there. Master Teague unavailable. Seen a hefty dose of Mayan Williams backing up TreVeyon Henderson. And as Williams was for 20 yards there. He's got 76 on the day, Greg.
Yeah, and you got to like the left side of that offensive line just collapsing that hole. And Maya Williams, this is who he is. I mean, he's downhill, A-gap to A-gap type of runner. He's very powerful this part of the game, too. I mean, he just body blow after body blow after body blow.
Had a big run that opening night against Minnesota for a big touchdown to get the year going. He's banged up, missed a few games, only had a carry against Nebraska. But tonight getting extended work with the lopsided score. Julian Fleming with the reception.
And we said it already today, but we've talked a lot about the wide receivers, understandably so. Ryan Day's got to be thrilled with his group today, but it should come as no surprise. The group that he's got to be most excited about is the offensive line, a group that struggled a little bit the last couple weeks, very inconsistent, didn't finish the way they needed to finish. Left some yards on the field too in the run game, but it's totally different today. It's been very good up front from right to left. Just really powerful. And they're going against the Purdue defensive front too, with George Karlaftis, some guys that can be very disruptive. So it's a pretty good defensive front that they've played, and Ohio State's offensive line has certainly answered the challenge that they were issued this week.
Just opened up a hole for Williams to go for 14 more yards. And there's George Karlaftis. He's got the amazing life story. Mother's from West Lafayette, Indiana. Grew up right next to campus. Father is from Greece. They met at Purdue, moved back to Greece, and that's where George grew up. And then his father passed away when he was 13 years old, and they moved back to the States. And he's turned into one of the very best defensive line prospects in the country.
He's a special player, and he hasn't had his best day today. And then give credit to Ohio State, too. I mean, Ohio State made it hard on him. One thing that pass rushers love, space and rhythm. And you give them space and rhythm, they can do a lot of work. Well, they haven't given him either of those. More importantly, the rhythm. I mean, they've left him unblocked. They've had bootlegs back at him. They've run right at him. I mean, they've done a lot of different things to kind of get his head spinning a little bit. So he hasn't had the impact in the game that a lot of us anticipated, and that's in large part due to the great game plan from Ryan Day and his offensive staff.
And he gets so much attention. Williams bounces it to the outside, took that little dip to the inside, and then got out for another first down. But listen, when he was a freshman, George Karlaftis was just on a tear of 17 TFLs, 7.5 sacks. But as the years go on, people realize what you're about. You're going to get double teamed. You're going to get a lot of attention. Ohio State's done a very good job with him today. So he's born in Greece. The tragedy with his father passes away when he was only 44 years old. And George said to us, he's like, listen, it's 8th grade. I don't even know what a yard line is. I don't even know what the positions are. But he's pushed in high school. He was a great natural athlete. And now he's one of the very top NFL prospects heading into next year's draft. Although you can talk football with him and then you can talk Greek food with him. Because, Katie, when we were on with him yesterday, I mean, how passionate was he when I turned to him and said, all right, what do you miss? He says, I miss souvlaki, I miss the gyros, the lemonado veal, the muzo fish, the vermico little food trucks with the big sandwiches and the meats and cheeses. That's all he wanted to talk about.
He rattled off 20 items that he misses, and that's all he wanted to talk about was food. He literally said, I could spend an hour talking to you guys about this kind of thing.
He did not want to go back
He's
to
a
the
foodie.
He did not want to go back to the football conversation after we steered it in that direction, that's for sure.
Extra fight from Williams. And Katie, before he was a great football player, there was another sport that he was dominating.
Yeah, he was a standout water polo goalie before moving to the United States. It was a sport his dad thought he'd excel in, which proved to be true. Karlaftis did a stint with Greece's national water polo team, and for training, he said he'd tread water while holding a chair over his head for 10 minutes or longer. So he had these incredibly strong legs, which he says ultimately laid the foundation for his football career. So the guy's super explosive, and when he started in the 9th grade, he said he fell in love with it after year 2 of playing football because he loved the aggressiveness and just being able to get after the quarterback.
And he said when they moved to West Lafayette, he went and watched the Purdue club water polo team. And at that point, him as being 13 years old, he said, I'm better than all these guys. I'm not playing water polo. It's like, wait, hang on a second. I mean, goodness gracious. He said, and he also corrected us too, Katie. I said, so hang on a second. You tread water for 10 minutes with a chair over your head? He goes, oh yeah, with my shoulders out of the water. He made sure that we knew that his shoulders were out of the water while he treaded the water.
If I put a stopwatch on you and ask you to tread water and hold a chair, what are we getting to on that? Are we getting to 3 seconds, 4 seconds? I mean, how difficult?
First question, which chair?
Right.
Okay. All right. I get to pick my chair, and it's going to be a very light chair, probably a kid's chair. I mean,
that's right.
Maybe borrow a chair from my son and
I give him 30 seconds tops.
I'll take the under. I'm not good in the water. Not good at it.
Victory formation for Ohio State, of course. We said it at the top of the show today. We said, listen, you can see the finish line now. 22 days away. That's when the selection committee is going to have the final say, the All-State playoff predictor. Said Ohio State right now 55%. Of course, for more, ESPN.com/All-State playoff predictor. Hey, Georgia, we know what they are. Greg, I offer this to you. We were with Georgia last week. Here we are spending the week with Ohio State. And a lot of times last week, you would define for me the kind of team it would take to have a chance to beat Georgia in that great defense. And some of the things can speed over the top.
I'd take Ohio State. I'll just come out right now and say it. If I had to have a team right now to beat Georgia, it'd probably be Ohio State. They're the most consistent to me with the threats that they give you on the outside and potentially winning one-on-ones. I think Ohio State would certainly be at the top of that list. Them and Alabama are the two that I'd choose. If I had to take down the Georgia Bulldogs, I had one game to do it. Those would be the two teams I would consider.
How about that guy right there? Garrett Wilson, 3 receiving touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. It was a 51-yarder. He's just dynamic. 59-31. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back to Ohio Stadium here in Columbus, Ohio.
The AT&T Countdown to the College Football Playoff National Championship, Monday, January 10th on ESPN. Run it.
Joe Tessitore, Greg McElroy, Katie George back with you on a day where Garrett Wilson was just spectacular. 126 receiving yards, 3 receiving touchdowns, the 1 rushing, and moments ago he was with Katie.
Garrett, welcome back. What an incredible performance by you. 4 touchdowns, almost 200 yards of offense. What did you think of your performance tonight?
It felt good to be back out here with my bros. And, I missed it last week being out here. And just to be able to bounce back like this, on a Saturday night feels good.
Coach Day said there was an edge to the offense this week. You guys weren't happy with the way that you played a week ago against Nebraska. What did you think of the response tonight?
This is what we planned on doing. So when we take the field every week, we feel like we want to score every drive. And if not, get points every drive. So, we feel like not many people can, stop us, and we got to prove that every week.
You've got a young quarterback in C.J. Stroud. He was on point tonight. What did you think of his performance?
He's always like that. So CJ's super focused, always detailed, and, this is what we expect out of him. This is what he always does. So CJ's a special player, and you showed it tonight.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Greg, he said he wanted to score. They expect to score on every possession. They had 11 possessions. They scored on 9 of them. They punted once. They ran the clock out the other time.
Pretty good. I'd say that's pretty good. So much for the red zone woes and the concerns with the run-pass balance. This team today put together a complete performance from start to finish. It was a joy to watch, and I think they just put the rest of the college football world on notice as well.
28 straight wins against Big Ten Conference opponents since that 2018 loss to Purdue. Let's get you to the college football scoreboard, and then it's Notre Dame and Virginia coming your way.